Yes, good evening. My name is Wallace Gator Bradley, and I'm the host of the Bradley Report. I'm also the president of United Peace, Inc. We got a very interesting news and stories today. First off, I want to let everyone know that this show is put together by none other than the producer and the director. She's also the chairman of United Peace, Inc., and that's my wife, Terry Marsh Bradley. And all of the technical wherewithal is being done by Brother Omari. So with that being said, to God be the glory. Brother Omari, let's get on with the story.
Mayor Lightfoot going on the attack in her fight to win a second term in City Hall.
WGN's political reporter Taman Bradley joining us live after speaking with the mayor. Hi, Taman.
Mike and Ray, good evening. Three top-tier mayoral candidates came here to the Chicago Tribune to meet with the paper. A reporter tells us that Lori Lightfoot, Brandon Johnson, and Chuy Garcia really went at it. It makes sense because Lightfoot has been hammering away at Garcia. Emerging from a session with the Chicago Tribune editorial board today, Mayor Lightfoot unloaded on mayoral challenger Congressman Jesus Chuy Garcia.
Congressman Garcia has to come clean with the voters of the city about what his connection is, not only to the now disgraced, indicted former speaker, but what his connection is to this evolving, deep ComEd scandal.
Last week, the Chicago Tribune and Sun-Times reported that Garcia's name is mentioned in a recorded phone conversation between indicted former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan and his longtime confidant Michael McLean. Garcia is not accused of wrongdoing, but Madigan faces federal racketeering and bribery charges, and McLean is accused of orchestrating an alleged bribery scheme by ComEd. Garcia's ties to Madigan are well known in state politics. In 2016, Garcia endorsed Madigan's re-election effort. The congressman brushed off Lightfoot's punch.
I had nothing to do with ComEd or anyone seeking a position on the ComEd board. I've been a critic of that utility and other utilities across Illinois. She is desperate. She is fabricating and trying to spin things that do not exist.
Lightfoot, who is taking incoming fire from her rivals at candidate forums and burning through campaign money fast, has stepped up her attacks. In 2019, candidate Lightfoot, running as a reform-minded outsider, got a boost when Alderman Ed Burke was named in an attempted extortion case. For the first time during the campaign, the Lightfoot team has released their internal polling. It shows Lightfoot leading the field, but several other campaigns have Lightfoot in third or fourth place. Regardless of what the polling says, the voters are about to weigh in when early voting begins on Thursday. One other note, the City Board of Ethics is looking into that email that the Lightfoot team sent to CPS teachers asking them to recruit students in exchange for extra credit. That's the latest tonight from the Chicago Tribune. We'll have another report at 6. Taman Bradley, WGN News.
Thank you, Taman.
You know, as far as the individuals wants to get into the situation about the young lady making a mistake, asking teachers to ask their students to get involved in the political process, that was a mistake on the young lady's part. But it's nothing compared to the investigation that's going to be called. It's already happening. The trial is going to happen in March. And the individual that allegedly, based off of that individual's testimony, where allegedly Chuy Garcia, Gutierrez, and others had assisted him with getting a position from Madigan on the ComEd. And all that gonna be explained. I just pray that Chuy don't get indicted. You know, I don't wish that of anyone. But the fact of the matter is one thing for sure. Lori Lightfoot, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, wouldn't be saying them things, and the newspapers wouldn't be putting those stories out if they didn't have documented proof of what they're saying. And the reason you hearing these stories about Chewy is because it's a courtroom document that was filed in the courts on behalf of a cooperating witness against Mannigan and other individuals. Everybody is saying crime. Crime, crime, crime. Everybody running their campaign on crime, saying Lori ain't doing nothing about crime. Okay? I want to speak as a former criminal that been blessed by God to have a pardon from former Governor Jim Thompson. Everybody know, since the Al Capone days, since the Mayor Daley days and the Mayor Daley days, and even the Rahm days, no one has found a formula, if it exists, to stop crime. Okay? But one thing that I want my viewing audience to hear, everybody else don't have a plan. Chuy Garcia engaged in what some people say is plagiarizing by trying to make his plan when he knew that the things he got in his plan was Mayor Lightfoot's plan. Brother Marty, you hit this for me right quick?
You wouldn't know it by watching the news or listening to the haters.
But on crime, Mayor Lightfoot's got a plan.
She's putting more police on the streets and getting more guns off them. When it comes to new strategies, new technology,
Lightfoot's invested more than any mayor.
those are facts.
Anyone that says there are simple solutions is lying. We didn't get here overnight, and we have a long way to go. But Lightfoot won't quit until we're the safest big city in America.
You know,
I've been getting paid $1,000.
Brother Mari, it's a thing up there that says, Chewy, get the money. Gonna hit that next. But
what do we really know
one
about?
thing I'm gonna share with my viewing audience is the mayor, in my opinion, and when you take time to watch, go on YouTube to watch the debate, the ABC debate, the League of Women Voters debate. Watch it for yourself. And you're going to see how everyone is talking about that they're running. When they get in, they want to do this. When they get in, they want to do that. And Mayor Lightfoot was the only candidate that was able to say, that what y'all saying y'all want to do, I'm doing. Brother Mari, hit that piece that we all just talking about Chewy.
What do we really know about Chuy Garcia? Chuy secretly talked with this crypto crook who stole his customers' life savings, then spent a fortune to re-elect Garcia. Chuy cut deals to help himself with the since-indicted Mike Madigan, even while the disgraced speaker faced a federal corruption investigation. And Chuy took money from a red light camera company just hours before he delivered the deciding vote that made the company millions. Crypto crooks, indicted Pauls, and pay-to-play profiteers. The more you know, the worse it gets.
Oh, you gotta love these commercials, especially when they have something of substantive. Brandon Johnson is in the race, Commissioner Brandon Johnson. One of the things that's key is that Brandon Johnson and Chewy and the mayor ended up at the Tribune endorsement session. And I think, yeah, keep on going, we'll find it, is that it was real heated from what I read in the paper. You know what I mean? Yes, that's that poll. Let me see that right there. If you can get that, Amari.
Yeah, Mayor Lightfoot almost forced to release the poll to counter one that came out last week that showed her in 4th place. She expressed confidence that she'll make it out of the first round of that election that is now 5 weeks away. Mayor Lori Lightfoot expressing increasing confidence in her re-election chances today, releasing the results of her own campaign polling conducted January 18th through the 22nd that shows her leading the race with 25%. She's followed closely by a surging Paul Vallas at 22%. Jesus Chuy Garcia, once considered the frontrunner, falling to third at 18%, followed by Willie Wilson at 11% and Brandon Johnson at 9%. There are 10% undecided.
Look, there's a lot that's going to happen between now and when the polls close on February 28th. We take nothing for granted. We run like we're an underdog, even though we are clearly in the lead.
The mayor says Chicago has become safer and that crime is down. Does anyone in Chicago believe what she says? That's what I say about the poll.
But Lightfoot also going on the attack against Garcia, who sources told ABC is the unnamed member of Congress mentioned in recently filed federal court papers in the Mike Madigan corruption trial.
This is serious business, and it's shocking to me, frankly, that the congressman isn't taking this more seriously.
Do I look like a worried man? Of course not.
Garcia says he's done nothing wrong, has not hired a defense attorney, and is not a target of the investigation.
She is desperate. She is fabricating and trying to spin things that do not exist.
As for the poll, Vallas could be benefiting from a series of ads that have been running on TV this month.
It looks like he's searching. It looks like he's in the game. It looks like he's moving ahead. And this is a crucial time to be able to show supporters and donors that you're in the game.
Paul Vallas certainly rising, but folks, I would love to have Paul Vallas as my runoff challenger. There's a lot that we will say in the coming days, but that's an ideal matchup for us.
Again, this poll is Lightfoot's own survey, so it has to be taken in that light, but the mayor says her numbers are consistent with what she saw a month ago, thus her confidence in the poll. Back to you.
All right, Craig, thank you for that.
You know,
all 9 candidates running for Chicago.
A poll is a poll is a poll is a poll. Don't nothing matter until you get to the polls to vote. So, early voting is January 26th, Thursday. It's January 26th, okay, 2023. Get out, vote early, because we got to stop those Trumptonians and Trump-influenced candidates and their supporters to take over Chicago. It ain't happenstance that you seeing all these blacks in the race, and the majority of them out their own mouths has said they're in the race pretty much in order to dilute the African American vote for Lori, the mayor, so that she do not win or be in the runoff. The runoff, that's their real purpose. Paul Vallas, with his Trump influence, he's a Trump influence candidate. Willie Wilson is a Trump influence candidate. Both of them went to try to get the races fraternal order police leadership to endorse them. Willie with Trump, Paul Vallas with Trump, fraternal police with Trump. They made the decision to go with Paul Vallas because they weren't going to take a chance with Willie because they are racist. But they can use Willie to help dilute the African American vote. Everybody know that Ricky Hendon called Jamal Green's people, recorded phone call. Jamal had a press conference saying it ought to be a federal investigation because they tried to bribe him, saying if his people drop their challenge to Willie Wilson, so Ricky said, had no problem with coming up with no money for them, and they would drop their challenge against Jamal Green. Well, lo and behold, after the man asked for the investigation, federal investigation of alleged bribery, they end up doing exactly that. Willie dropped his challenge. Jamal Green dropped his challenge of Willie. Okay? Keep the blacks in the race. Then Willie Wilson's people dropped their challenge to Sawyer's petitions. Keep the blacks in the race. You follow what I'm saying? Okay? To dilute the African American voting power so that Lori couldn't end in the runoff. So Willie Wilson, the Republican, takes Sawyer to go to the GOP forum to try to get their endorsement. So that's why the mayor's saying she had no problem. She really got a problem with running for re-election against anybody that's running against her, because of the things that she has done, as opposed to all their platform saying that she ain't did nothing for the city. Where's it all coming out now? So, voters in the city of Chicago, it was you and the 50 wards, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, they came out and made a decision that you wanted change. And you didn't vote for Tony Pratt Winkle. I know you didn't. Because I was with Pratt Winkle. But you want to change. And we got to respect the people that want to change. So you end up getting a change agent that became the mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot. You the people. Lori Lightfoot is the only one that's in the race that's officially the elected people's candidate for mayor who's running for re-election. So people in Chicago, I know y'all see the fluff. Especially African Americans. Don't let them think across this country, especially in Georgia, think that we're going to fall for the okie doke like we did before when Harold Washington got elected in '83. They went and found a racist guy. They tried to say he wasn't racist. I'm talking about Bernie Elton. Come out the Southwest Ward and 19th Ward, all that, Mount Vernon, everybody else came together to try to push him as a Republican against Daley when they were a Democratic committeeman. Fast forward, he won. Then he ran again in '87 to be re-elected. And the people voted for him. He had to put a plan together of inclusiveness and equity. And Sawyer, I ain't talking about Roger Sawyer, I'm talking about his father, was the finance chairman and was in on the planning on what Harold's plan of inclusiveness and equity was. Harold died, he became the mayor. They went and got a bunch of African Americans like they got now, a bunch of so-called progressive liberals, and it was a white hand making the moves for them to push and pass for a special election. And that's how Daley became the mayor. So, Paul Vallis, his base is a bunch of racist individuals. Racist. They don't like gays. They don't like nobody. Y'all know their record. They don't like nobody, especially nobody black that's elected to office to represent the whole city or the county. They ain't got no problem with using blacks. I call it the Brady Bunch / Herschel Walker syndrome. So Chicago, don't be McFool. And don't get me wrong, you got the right to vote for whoever you want to vote for. I'm just telling the like-minded people, keep the change agent that you voted for, a human being that you voted for. Allow her to have a second chance to make things right. Because one thing for sure, the 3 or 4 years that she's been in there, she has done more for Chicago in terms of inclusiveness and equity than Daley's administration and Rahm's administration put together. During a time of major crisis, who knew that Floyd was going to get murdered like he did? And it happened all around the country, where there was looting and everything else. So I'm asking you, starting January 26, 2023, early voting, vote to re-elect Mayor Lloyd Lightfoot. The election is the 28th of February for those that feel like they want to wait. Vote to keep change for the betterment of Chicago in office. Don't let them steal your power of equity and inclusiveness. Brother Irvin, Alderman Jason Irvin, he's running unopposed, 28th Ward Alderman. He's also a supporter of Mayor Lightfoot, early supporter. As a matter of fact, I want to say the 8th Ward Alderman, the 27th Ward Alderman, really all the aldermen on the west side. You got some aldermen on the south side. I read where aldermen or former aldermen up on the north side. So they all coming out and endorsing the mayor. I want to put it out there because my time is about to, I got to wrap it up. I want to put it out there that I endorsed her long before I became her urban translator and political consultant. Because I see the big picture. If we make a mistake and let Chewy get in there, and there's an indictment around the corner for that, you can rest assured that. That man gonna sing, talking about Chewy, that man, Orchard, whatever his name is, Juan, whatever his name is, Chewy's friend, is gonna sing like a canary. I wanna say, to God be the glory. Come out and vote for Lori Lightfoot for mayor. Starting January 26, 2023, all the way to February 28, 2023. To God be the glory. That's my story. Vote, don't choke.